You just got wrecked.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Tuesday. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day so far. However, having a look at Bitcoin, it does look like the bears were trying very hard this morning to push Bitcoin out of this potential bear flag we might be sitting in. They were not successful, but they were successful in pushing the price down about 150 bucks or so. So we are going to talk about that. Should we be worried? Is this a big deal, or is this just Bitcoin being Bitcoin? I think that is the most important question today. We are going to discuss that because you can see right here, we were trying to pump higher. We got up to about that $8,382 level, only to get rejected all the way down to the $8,082 level. Now, currently, we have pulled up a little bit, but we aren't exactly out of the woods just yet, so that's what I want to talk about today. Also, actually want to discuss something that will be happening next year, which is the Bitcoin halving event, and I want to discuss whether or not history is actually going to repeat itself, okay? Because, you know, the first time, people didn't know what to expect. The second time, we had a bit of a scaling debate going on, right? But the third time, we're all anticipating the price to pump. So is this actually going to be the case this time? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about. If that sounds good to you, well, you know what to do. Also, if you are not subscribed to the Crypto Zombie channel, well, what are you waiting for? We do this every single day. Bull market, bear market, weekends, doesn't matter, holidays, and of course, you guys know, every Monday we do give away the Ledger Nano S. All you got to do is drop a comment on literally any video throughout the course of the week. Now, what was interesting about this drop off this morning is I did not see the Bitcoin dominance go up. Let me give it a refresh. See. Nope, we're still at 66.4%. So you didn't see that kind of rush into Bitcoin. Now, Tether, you could see, is still sitting around $1. So the question is, what is going on? Where is the money going? And what is happening? Because you can see right here, not much volume. Still, I mean, Bitcoin's sitting at around $250,000. $250 million, 606 million over at Tether, but really not very impressive. You can still see, even with that wick, we still are looking at relatively neutral, although it is slightly bearish. You know, if we scroll down here, you will notice that the shorts are at 51.62%, but it's not like incredibly bearish, right? So that's why I want to talk about what is going on now. I know what you're going to say. It was probably the fact that we had 107,848 Bitcoin that was moved from the mysterious wallets, right? Well, no, we actually figured out who that was. By the way, in case you were wondering, it was Bitstamp sending it over to Zappo, okay? So that really wasn't the reason. Don't want to have any FUD get spread. But actually, while we're on the topic, something pretty cool to note is that they were able to send about $900 million worth of Bitcoin for 0.000467, which is literally like $3.75. So when you're talking about moving $1 billion worth of money for $4, I don't really see how people still say that Bitcoin's too expensive. But anyway, let's get to the charts because this is why everyone is here. Now, currently, yes, we are putting in a red, actually, it's starting to not become a star doji. We're starting to actually go a little bit lower. So I don't want to put in a red month for October. I just think that 4 red months back to back to back is not a good sign for Bitcoin. I mean, you could see even when we had the massive bull run, we weren't putting in that many red months until we got right to the end. And when we put in that 4th red candle, my goodness, did we plummet. So I don't want to see that. However, you know, if we were to still get supported by this parabolic line, well, you know, you could see Bitcoin come down to that $5,500, $5,700 level. But the question is, are we going to? Or is this just whales playing games with us? Well, let's dive in and let's have a look. Because currently, yeah, I mean, we still have the Bollinger Bands down here, but we really haven't had that explosive move. So even what just happened this morning, I still don't think that was the big move that we're waiting for. Now, currently, we are sitting below the basis, not necessarily good short term for Bitcoin, but, you know, we're still trying to get above that 200 daily moving average. So I'm telling you guys, very soon we are going to see a very big Bitcoin move, and I don't think that this was it. But having a look over here, you will notice that essentially we wicked down to the very, very bottom of this bear flag. Now you can see we did get supported. If we were to fall out of this, well, we're going to get into just a second the bearish scenario, but you can see right here that we have had that difficulty getting above the 200 daily, and it was this purple line. You see the secondary resistance that held us down here? Well, look, it held us down all these days, all down here, and finally we tried to break above it and we couldn't. So the bulls are not able to break above these short-term resistance, which could potentially be a situation. Now, I just want to point out, we did something sort of similar back in, the end of 2018. Not exactly, the fractal's not playing out exact, but essentially after we had that fall, we pretty much just continued upwards inside this channel before having the breakout where, as currently, we might continue to go sideways. That's a possibility. We might just be seeing this sort of volatility within a range, right? We are going to keep our eyes on that, but I wanted to point out that something that I was positive about for a little bit, and now it's negated itself again, is we've actually flipped under the 20 moving average on the daily. Now you can see right here, look, we were sitting just above it this morning. I was actually feeling pretty confident, and then we fell below it. So now currently we put ourselves back into that bearish scenario. Short term, I don't want you guys thinking Bitcoin's going to die. It's not going to die, but yeah, it could get a little choppy. I mean, if we have a look here at the measured move, kind of seeing if we were to fall down, I'm just doing this rough, by the way, don't take these numbers exact. That would take us down to about $6,000. So could Bitcoin actually get to those levels? Well, we do have the CME futures gap down at 7.2. We also have the golden pocket of the Fibonacci retracement. I know a lot of traders look at that, but do keep in mind that the 7.2 is only on the 4-hour. It's not on the daily, okay? But obviously, the most important question of all is what the heck is Bitcoin going to be doing short term, okay? Everyone's wondering, are we going up? Are we going down? Well, currently, the bears are trying to push the price down, so let's start with the bearish scenario. Now, we did have a look, essentially, if we did the measured move, but, more short term, you would try to get supported if we do go lower around that sort of $7,850 level. The next level would be around the 7,650, and then, of course, we'd be looking for that 7.2K that I just spoke about. That's on the bearish side. On the bullish side, we've been talking about these levels. We would need to get above the 200 daily moving average. Then we would need to get above 8.8K. I don't think we're going to have too much difficulty getting above the 9.1K level just because that's only where the wicks were. But then the next level would be 9.4K. All right. So that is essentially what we are looking at. But guys, you can see right here, very indecisive market, but we are still well above the 100 weekly average, which I still do consider to be short term bullish. Okay. All right. But not super short term as in the sense of tomorrow. All right. But I do want to talk about the miners, I do want to talk about the halving, and I do want to talk about the price and whether or not history is going to repeat itself and why it could be different this time around. But let's have a look. Let's discuss. You let me know. If you agree with this, sure. If you don't, drop a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say. But Bitcoin miners are preparing for the 18 millionth coin as just 14% of the supply remains. So not like there's anything special about that number. It's just a nice round number. They're getting quite excited about that. Interestingly enough, having a look at the stock to flow ratio, you could see that Bitcoin is exactly where it should be. In fact, you can't get any closer to the line. I mean, essentially, we are sitting right there, stock to flow, 365 day is at 8,300. And we are currently sitting at around, that 8,000. Well, that's actually where we're sitting, which is actually pretty crazy, guys. Oh, also, this is a live chart. Now, if you guys want, I'll drop it below. It's what is it? It's digitalik.net, okay, /BTC. So you can check that out. There you go. But let's talk about this because we are seeing that the hash rate is still going up, even though it's kind of pulled back after it hit the high. So this is showing that mining competition is at an all-time high. So you're not seeing miners capitulating. You're not seeing them dropping off, right? So what is the situation? Well, Jihan Wu, you guys might be very familiar with him. He was the ex-CEO of Bitmain. He actually says that he's a little bit pessimistic about the prospect of a price surge after the halving. He actually suggested that the first two uptrends might have been catching up with the bubble and bust cycle. He doesn't think it's going to be the same way this time around. He says maybe people speculate too much before the halving, and then you can't sell the good news anymore. Maybe this time a bullish cycle is not coming. He says during the first and second halving, people didn't know what to expect, and during the second halving, the scaling debate complicated the situation. But now people are expecting it. They are expecting price to rise, so maybe because everyone is thinking that, it might not happen. Now, if you talk to Matthew Rosnak, chairman of the blockchain company Software Block, he says things are going to be very bullish. He says all the demand from institutional investors is still crescendoing, right? You have custody platforms, insurance, compliance, regulatory, all of this, right? Backed, Fidelity, even though Backed was a little bit of a flop, but he basically expects the price to reach somewhere between $15,000 and $100,000, and for the halving to kick off a decade plus of rising, okay? But, maybe it's not just that situation. It could just simply be economics, just simple supply and demand, stock to flow, right? Maybe we're overcomplicating it. In fact, you could see from this interview that the Pomp had, now this was with Yahoo Finance. This is not a new interview. This actually came out in July, but I actually think that what he said still holds true. And I just want to play this clip for you super quick.
I think the important thing to remember about Bitcoin is a fixed supply asset. And so supply and demand, economic supply. And so if there's increases in demand, you're going to see price move up. I think that by the end of 2021, we'll see it eclipse $100,000. And really that's just driven by more institutional interest and then also a lot more global instability that we're seeing kind of the early days of today.
So hopping on back to the stock to flow, you do realize that there is this sort of supply and demand to Bitcoin. And I understand what some people out there are saying. Well, just because something is limited in supply doesn't mean that people are going to demand it. No, I totally understand that. But there are so many other fundamental aspects out there. The fact that no fiat system has basically ever survived. You're seeing hyperinflation in a lot of different regions, geopolitical turmoil, right? These trade wars. There's a lot of different things that could make Bitcoin attractive outside of just the price. But hey, if you want to talk about just price, having a look at stock to flow, which has essentially played out exactly from day one, you are looking at around $100,000 Bitcoin, roughly by January, February, March, like April, May-ish of 2021. So, it doesn't necessarily have to be, but having a look at this, we do tend to stay very close to this line, and we do always put in a new all-time high after the halving. So let me know what you guys think. Maybe this time it'll be different. Maybe history won't repeat itself, but there's a lot of data on this chart, and you really can't lie with the numbers, right? But simply looking at some chain analysis, you can see that the average transaction fee has been decreasing at a rate of about 19.3%. That's actually very good. The average amount of money sent in transactions in US dollars is actually up 26.65% week over week. So that's good. But there are some not so great statistics as far as Bitcoin is concerned. As far as terms of engagement is concerned, the number of monthly active users in Bitcoin has actually fallen basically by about 28,000 per day. So that's kind of fast, right? But also consider that maybe they're just hodling. Right? That could be. Maybe they're just hodling, right? But here's an article I'm not going to go into. Short the bankers, traditional institutions are embracing crypto. And you can see right here, obviously Facebook created a lot of interest with Libra and Calibra. A lot of people started looking back into Bitcoin and stable coins and tokens and things of that nature. So that did create that, interest once again. And yeah, just scrolling down here, they talk about all these different blockchain courses that are offering these custodial solutions, okay? Lots of people are getting involved in Bitcoin, and the space is definitely getting more exciting day by day. But guys, I think the most important news of the day is that the Oxford English Dictionary announced on October 9th that it has officially added the word Satoshi, being Bitcoin's smallest unit. The definition says a Satoshi is the smallest monetary unit in Bitcoin cryptocurrency and is named after Satoshi Nakamoto, the probably pseudo-anonymous developer of Bitcoin. So there you go. Satoshis is now officially, you could officially look it up in the dictionary. So talking about some quick on crypto news and getting on out of here, guys. So this is probably why BNB is doing well today. The Swiss Stock Exchange 6 has added a new cryptocurrency, which allows investors to gain exposure. You guessed it, BNB. So the new ETP is ABNB and can be purchased through a bank or brokerage firm just like a stock. Unlike ETNs, ETPs are legally obligated to be backed one-to-one by reserves, which means ABNB is fully collateralized. Now, once again, guys, Tone Vase is in the news, this time apparently because of how much he charges for consulting, which is 0.3 Bitcoin. I don't know, guys. You can have a look at this. I don't know. Whatever he wants to charge for his consulting fees, that's up to him. Whoever wants to pay it, that's up to them. But if you guys want, I'll drop the thread below. But ending on some good news, okay, some positive news. So you guys might be familiar with Brooklyn Nets basketball player Spencer Dinwiddie. Well, he previously planned to tokenize his NBA contract, which was worth more than $30 million, until the NBA blocked the deal, citing a collective bargaining agreement violation. However, Dinwiddie says that the deal makes no such violation and will continue to move forward with or without the NBA's blessing. And on that note, guys, I think that's where I'm going to leave it today because, yeah, I need to figure out what is going on in the air right now that is making me so stuffed up right now. But that being said, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. It is just another day in cryptocurrency, guys. You know, the sentiment makes me laugh. It does. You know, we pumped up to $14,000 and then we had a subsequent pullback. Okay. We had a basically 400% pump and now suddenly Bitcoin's dead and it's dying again, guys. Every time Bitcoin falls 40%, it's not dying. It's just correcting. Okay. It's just having